Greetings, fellow citizens. I am Parson Greene. I'm sitting here on the village green in front of the Setauket Presbyterian Church, where I was pastor for 50 years. It is July 1851, and I have received a letter to which I responded. A letter inviting me to the 75th celebration of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. How was I to begin my letter? As I took my pen in hand, I was transported back to the years I served in the Army. I was only a boy of 17 years when I, along with my older brother, enlisted in 1776. When I signed up, it was with a quill pen. Everyone used quills. We learned as children how to cut and form the nibs. My pen today has a metal nib. So much better. So easy to write with. Well, as soldiers, we fought in battles at Boston, Brooklyn Heights, White Plains, and yes, even in the Battle of Setauket in 1777. But my fighting career came to an end after I was wounded at the Battle of White Marsh in Pennsylvania. I was on the right flank of the advance guard. My brother was on the left flank, and we were both wounded. His was a bad flesh wound below the shoulder. I was wounded in my left shoulder. The shoulder blade was fractured and the collarbone was injured. My wound was dressed in one of General Washington's rooms. And then we left the house to make room for others. And we took up our lodging in a horse shed without a blanket or an overcoat. And we lay on buckwheat straw, rather a coarse and damp substitute for feathers. The night was sleepless, cold, distressing, and it is difficult to describe the anguish I endured from my shattered bones. But it was all for American freedom. The next morning, General Greene procured rooms for my brother and I. My wounds and his were dressed by the young ladies of the family. 3 weeks after this, I sent for a surgeon of the British regiment on parole, who removed the dead flesh and sawed the sharp points and shattered parts of the shoulder blade. After this, the wound began to heal, yet it was over 10 months before it got well. I was never able to bear arms afterwards. After the war ended, my life took a different path. I became a preacher and returned to this community to serve as their pastor. Now I am retired and living with my daughter in Hempstead. I now beg your indulgence, as I would like you to hear what I have written. Gentlemen, the letter inviting me to join you and the citizens of New York in the celebration of the 4th of July was handed to me last evening. My age, the heat, and a lame ankle and a previous engagement prevent me from attending this celebration. How to express my feelings of disappointment at not being able to attend the festival, and how I dearly love this nation for which I fought. It may perhaps be of some use for me to say I belonged to the Revolutionary Army when the Declaration of Independence was read for the first time on the 4th of July, 1776, in the park which lay very near the edge of New York City. The Army rejoiced, and it was loudly proclaimed, in every direction. United we stand, divided we fall. The sons of the old patriots should never lose sight of this important sentiment. If I could stand on a mountain in the center of the United States and extend my voice from the Atlantic to the Pacific, I would say aloud, be careful of this union. Do nothing to injure the union, for it is the gift of the God of the Bible. Yes, the gift of the God of the armies of the United States. States cemented with the sweat, blood, and property of the fathers of this nation. We live under the only God of this nation. We live under the only free, generous, wise, and safe government that exists on the habitable earth. I was one of the party sent to drive the British from the neighborhood of White Marsh when they were robbing the people of their cattle and their family stores. There, I was severely wounded. You can see why I'm so strongly attached to the Union and why I wish to leave my posterity and my fellow citizens in a pure, unbroken union. That the celebration of this day may strengthen the union of the United States, let us earnestly beseech our Father in heaven to pour upon our nation the spirit of peace and love. I am your fellow citizen, friend, and servant in the gospel of the divine Savior. Zachariah Greene.